So this is the story of when we were like 6 years old and we almost blew up her house.
I was 4.
Yeah, she was 4. We were miniature bomb makers when we were
Maddie was 8.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Okay, here's a little background. When we were little, we did everything together. I was at their house like every friggin' day. So we were
She got a little annoying. For Maddie, I love her.
So we played a crap ton of Peter Pan. I was always Peter Pan because my hair grew super slow, which is kind of ironic now, on all things considered. But anyway, because she always had to be Miss Wendy or Tinkerbell, and God forbid anyone else played Jane other than Maddie. That just didn't happen. Just no bueno. So, I was also obsessed with the Boxcar Children. I loved the books. I loved the concepts.
To this day, I've never heard any or read any of those, and I don't
So I used to force them. The only time I could ever force them to play anything was that we were orphans and we were living on our own by our own wits. And so
Maddie was blind. She always chose to be blind. She's either blind or deaf.
Yeah,
or pregnant.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Well, okay, one of these days I'll do another video on my 7th birthday.
Where she was pregnant. She was 10.
Clickbait in itself. Anyway, so...
She was pregnant at 10!
Oh. So...
That was so weird. Please don't put that in the video.
Yeah, so I've always built these like really elaborate forts. We had one that withstood the test of time until man took it over.
Yeah, he bulldozed it.
And he killed our tree!
He actually had to use a bulldozer to get it down. He wanted to clear the spot, and he said that he couldn't take it apart because when we wove all the branches into it, it wouldn't come down.
Anyway,
then he burned it. May that man die. Just kidding, he's a great person. Continue.
Sometimes. Anyway, so one day, we had the absolute brilliant idea that our fort needed fire. Let me tell you. We weren't allowed to play with matches, but we were allowed to play with blowtorches. We were allowed to play with blowtorches, but not matches, which YOLO! Anyway, so we had this bright, beautiful, brilliant idea that if we got a stick, we could make a torch. So we found a thicker stick that we could use, and then we went to the hangar and tried to find like the grungiest, dirtiest, hopefully never used for anything ever again, rag on the floor. So, us and our little innocent minds, we wrapped up that stick and...
sidetrack. The hangar that we had...
For those of you who don't know, if we ever reference the hangar, we're referring to the airplane hangar where both of our dads are airplane mechanics. So whenever we refer to the hangar, we mean the workshop.
It had this ginormous furnace that took 4 foot...
Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego miniature style.
Yeah, furnace that took 4 foot logs. That it was like 6 feet long, and it had this ginormous chimney and like a big door, and it was like iron. And most of our winters,
of logs.
Yeah, most of our winters we spent hauling these huge 4 foot logs into the hangar and stacking them like
in
6
our little
feet
green
in the air.
wagon.
It was miserable, but we tried to light our torch with that.
So we decided, we found this old grungy rag, wrapped our stick, and we were preparing to open the floodgates.
Oh, we also dipped it in chemicals first. That was Maddie's bright idea.
We didn't know, actually.
So we didn't know this till later. But my dad has a really...
I'm just learning this now.
...morbid sense of humor.
Well, that I knew.
And, yeah, everyone knows that. And, if you do something, he will tell you the best way to do it. And also the best way to get hurt. Because...
Experience is the
sidetrack. When my dad got married, when he got out of the Air Force, him and his wife would be driving down the freeway, and she'd lean over, grab the steering wheel, and he'd crawl out on top of the car and get in the passenger side and then keep going.
Because apparently parking isn't an option.
Also, my dad was running from the cops once, and his friend crop dusted the cops.
Her dad's also in his 80s.
Yeah, he is. There are some states where he's walked into like restaurants and stuff, and they're like, we will call the police, even though it's been like 40 years. So my dad gave my sister the bright idea to dip the rag in some oil and some other flammable chemicals that are in the hangar, because part of his morbid sense of humor is, well, maybe if they blow something up, they won't do it again.
because, you know, injury, like major injury is not like that bad of a learner apparently. Well, anyway, so my dad comes to the rescue and he's like, all our butts were sore that night.
Like mid sticking the stick in the fire.
It's already open. The floodgates are opening up. So we found out later, well, at least I did, that cloth was soaked in flammable, like explosive chemicals. Also, there was barrels of said explosive chemicals all around us. So should we have dropped that thing, the hangar would be no more.
The whole ranch would be no more. And that's like...
There's enough chemicals in the air alone.
That ranch right now is super huge. And there's lots of land around it. Soldotna Creek Park runs right through our backyard. And it's worth $2 billion.
So, that night, our butts were sore. Lots of tears.
Okay, just disclaimer, it is not child abuse to spank your children. That's how they learn.
If it's done in love,
when you see children screaming in the store and you're like, wow, their parent doesn't discipline it, that means they don't spank them. Spanking your kid is not child abuse. Spanking your kid is how you get them to do the right thing.
I was spanked as a child. I now suffer from self-respect, respect of authority, and dignity. I'm also in college, and I started in college at 14, so did she.
I started at 13. Beep, beep.
Only because your mom was a professor, I had to follow the rules.
Only because I could not deal with people my age, and I still can't. I tried going back to school for a semester, and I was like, you're all idiots. Please take me home. I literally went home like 2 hours early every day. I was like...
Her mom would call me, she's like, hey, I know it's like noon. Can you go pick up Carmen from school? Half the school year. I'm not even kidding.
So yeah, I didn't go to school for like, I mean, like if you actually counted the hours that I missed the school because I was like, I hate this place and I don't want to be here, I probably missed half the school year because I left at 12:30 almost every day.
And then one time, one of the subs came, and we both were in class with them at the college.
Oh yeah, I had a communications class with him.
We love you, Kyle.
We do. You're great. Yeah, so he came in.
Big brother.
He came in and everyone's like,
awesome.
Everyone didn't believe me before that I'd gone to college, especially this one short kid. I'm not saying names. And he comes in, and him and I are starting to have a conversation, and he goes,
how do you know him?
No, Kyle. He's like, you're smarter than all these other here. Straight up. Like, not loud enough that everyone could hear, but loud enough that I was like, I don't know why I'm here.
That is the story of how, at 6 and 4, still barely in school, we almost blew up several acres of land.
Several hundred of acres. There was a lot of land there.
We were nearly natural disasters.
It all would have gone up. Like, it was all wheat and trees.
Yeah. I'm going back and editing my video and reviewing it. I discovered we are really terrible at story time because we cannot keep on track to save our lives. Too many disclaimers, too many sidetracks, too many rabbit trails, whatever. But I will try better next time. And if you liked this video, because if you're even hitting these bloopers, then you must have survived the whole thing somehow. So kudos to you. Good job. You have patience. Also, to explain the frequent weird hand gestures, blame my mom. I got that from my mom, blame her.
We're on our way to get breadsticks! Hey.
Hey.
You cute.
Wait, it's my mom! So why can't you see? You belong with me. You belong with me.